We finally had our big Nintendo Direct of the year, the very first one of 2026, and it was good. Like, I genuinely loved it, personally. So many games that I'm interested, so many games that I'm going to play, but I just can't help but feel like Nintendo kind of messed up. Yes, the Direct was amazing, but I walk away from it thinking, what was Nintendo thinking? What in the world was going on in their heads? And also, I think there's a big problem with leaks. Let's run through the entire Direct. Let's talk about what I liked, what I didn't like, what's going on here, and all of the new games, because there were tons of games coming to the Switch 2 that people will love and enjoy. So instead of starting from the beginning and going through it, we're gonna start at the end. This is my biggest problem with this Direct. There are so many problems I have. This was my biggest one. The Legend of Zelda: Ocarina of Time, finally, officially confirmed. However, it had been leaked by Nate the Hate literally back in February and been rumored for the past year. Ocarina of Time was by no means something that came out of left field. This was something that every single Nintendo fan that was watching this Direct expected to happen. But what this Direct basically confirmed to me was that they are definitely having a September Direct to show off more games for next year, because all we have for next year officially announced is Pokemon Winds and Waves, and then of course Xenoblade Genesis. But here with Ocarina of Time, the biggest problem is that they showed us nothing. They showed us nothing. They showed us this tarp with all of these beautifully crafted, hand-stitched icons, hand-stitched images of the castle, of the tree, of our little character here with no fairy. And then it zooms in and shows us our first look at the actual game itself, and it's awesome. I really think that this is going to be a great art style, but I can't even judge that, right? Like, this is a cutscene. It's very clearly not any sort of gameplay. So we know what the game is going to look like in a cutscene, but we don't know anything about what the game actually runs and how it's going to look. And it comes out this year, 2026. It's coming out this year. Nintendo, it's June. It's June. You're not going to have another presentation probably until September. It's June. When are you going to release this game? Is it coming in December? If it's coming in December, you only have 5.5 months left. You have 5.5 months left to market this game, to show us what it's all about. This is the biggest game of your year, the greatest game of all time to many, the highest rated Metacritic game ever, being remade for the first time on modern home console hardware, and you show us 5 seconds of actually Link, and you don't even show us any gameplay. I can't believe that that's what they did. I can't believe that's the route they chose. And again, I thought the Direct was good, right? If you had to ask me, somewhere around a B- to a B. I don't think it was an A tier Direct by any means. It had some great announcements. For me personally, it was an A+ Direct because all I could have ever asked for were those Xenoblade games, and a new one at that. But I can't help but be disappointed, especially at that Ocarina of Time reveal. Why in the world would you show us a little bit of a cutscene and give us a tiny vibe, a little vibe check, a little tease? I think their problem has just been with communication. That's been their biggest problem. They don't know how to do these Directs, it feels. Last September, I thought was a really good Direct because it had some really good reveals and just kind of set up that next year pretty well. We already knew that Splatoon Raiders was coming, but that was also a problem. I think that there were so many different things that they could have done in that September Direct to make this better. Now imagine if they hadn't revealed Splatoon Raiders in June of last year and they had saved it for September, and imagine they decided to reveal Ocarina of Time in that September Direct. That Direct would have been so much better.
I just really want to hone in on this point here. Why did they really reveal Star Fox on its own? Why did they reveal Splatoon Raiders on its own? What is the point of Nintendo Directs if not for big first-party announcements? A lot of my confusion in this video has to do with, like, man, great games, but why do I feel so empty? It's because the one thing I was so excited for was Xenoblade coming back and the very first brand new Xenoblade game in years. Then I was really excited at Switch Sports. Why? Because even though that was also leaked, it was Switch Sports Resort. We had no idea what kind of Switch Sports game it was going to be. I was so excited to see that surprise. I was surprised. It's the element of surprise and brand new reveals in a place that you expect them to be. If you just wake up on a random Tuesday, or if you're in a movie theater like I was, and all of a sudden, 5 minutes from now, there's a Star Fox Direct, that's not hype. That is just unfortunate timing. I think they really need to think about this Direct formula and think about what they're actually trying to do. because directs are enough hype to keep us going year round. And if you want to drop a couple things here and there, sure. But don't reveal a brand new Splatoon game on a random June out of nowhere last year like they did. Don't reveal Star Fox like you did. Give us the direct after it's announced in a direct like this. If they had given an Ocarina of Time and it wasn't leaked, and if they had given us Star Fox and we hadn't known about that, and they had given us Splatoon Raiders, this direct would have been huge. But it just wasn't. So here we are. They just got a lot of problems in terms of like trying to make directs big, but then also not doing directs. So then they have a bunch of third-party stuff and then a bunch of old stuff that they're updating us on when they didn't need to update us on it. They just needed to reveal it. This Ocarina of Time reveal should have been at the end of last September, or they should have decided to give us more content. This is like a teasery, years away kind of trailer, and yet it's coming out within the next 6 months? No way. Just a lot of problems there. I don't understand why they're doing it.
And then even now, even today, all you have to do is rearrange everything in the direct, and I think it is so much better. If they would have started this direct with Ocarina of Time and then ended the direct with Xenoblade, or put it in reverse, put it to where Xenoblade was the very first thing that they showed off, Ocarina of Time stays at the end, or Switch Sports Resorts opens up the direct. All they had to do was that, but instead they started the direct with Rhythm Heaven Groove, the only Nintendo Switch game left, the only Switch 1 game that we had yet to get. To me, it makes no sense. I don't understand why you open your Nintendo Direct with an old hardware game that most people don't care about. I think looks interesting, but I don't care about. I'm probably not going to get. Pacing was weird. The pacing has been weird. Their form of communication is just so odd to me. I had a lot of right predictions in this direct. One was Pokemon Pocopia getting some DLC. It is a $35 expansion pass. $35. You can go and you can buy it. It's got wave 1 right now. There's going to be another wave coming later this year and a third wave coming next year. So maybe they'll justify that price point. And there's also going to be a free update where you can go underwater and all that coming within the next few months. Pokemon and the Pokemon Company will always capitalize on successes. I knew that they would do this for Pocopia. I knew that this was happening, but still, it's just like, really? Then Fire Emblem Fortune's Weave looked so good. It is finally the return to the Three Houses formula. I know the Fire Emblem community has been so divisive about Fire Emblem Three Houses, and I just have to tell you guys, I'm so sorry if this is not the style you're looking for, but this is the style everyone else is looking for. Three Houses sold so well. Engage did not sell all that well. Engage was not that fun. It went right back to the Fire Emblem formula. It didn't have any sort of life sim aspect to it. It didn't have any sort of communications part to it. Like, this game already looks like a direct sequel to Three Houses, and that's exactly what I wanted. That's so much what they needed to do. It's just what everybody else kind of wanted, I think. And that game looked so great, but I can truly understand, right? These are all things that we've seen before. Then we got that odd DK challenge portion of the direct where it's kind of like a weird achievement system. I thought that was interesting, but it's nothing new. It's just like, okay, cool. That's something that most people aren't even going to care about. Then I was so upset. Oh my gosh. I predicted earlier in the year and for this direct that Donkey Kong and Pauline, this was like a wild left field prediction for me, that they would get a Link cap and that Pauline would get a Zelda outfit based on the anniversary of Zelda. And they didn't do that. They decided to wait until after Mario's anniversary to do it Mario themed. So I count that. I was right, but I'm so mad that I wasn't exactly right. And then with 3 Xenoblade games in a row, Xenoblade 1, 2, and 3, all getting Switch 2 editions, I lost my mind. Please go check out my reactions video to that. This was the best part of the direct. I'm a massive Xenoblade fan. I was really hoping for just 2 to get pretty much like a definitive edition treatment. It's getting a Switch 2 edition, so I can't be any more upset at that. I've been itching to replay all 3 of those games, and so this is the perfect time for me to do that and for it to be paced out the way it is. Then boom, Xenoblade Genesis. I mean, what more can you ask for? They are kind of redoing this storyline. They're redoing it because 3 ended kind of how the first game and the second game went on. Like, there was a interconnected narrative, for those of you who don't know, and then that narrative kind of ended with that third game. So here, Genesis, it's the beginning. It's something brand new. They're going to do something different with the Xenoblade name. It's not Xenoblade Chronicles, it's Xenoblade Genesis. Monolith Soft is incredible, and this game looks so good. I can't wait to get my hands on it coming next year. So that was a great reveal for next year. It just makes me wonder why they didn't have more reveals for next year. I understand it's June, you're going to wait till September to give us more, but they really didn't give us a ton. So Genesis was amazing, lost my mind. Then they gave us Switch Sports Resorts, over 12 sports. We got Thun Wrestling, which actually looks really, really fun to me. All of these sports look so much fun to me. Finally bringing back Woohoo Island. This is exactly what that community wanted. I think it's great. And this is kind of where we get to talk more about that variable pricing and the dynamics between these pricing. Fire Emblem Fortune Ocean Weave is $80 physical, $70 digital. Disgusting. That is disgusting. And then Switch Sports Resorts is $50, and that's great. So I'm glad to see that they're doing that variable pricing, but man, why Fire Emblem $80? Why? That just doesn't make any sense. Dust Bloods got less than a minute of footage, and none of it was gameplay. Like, we know FromSoft had some problems with the Switch 2 hardware, that Elden Ring had to get delayed, and it looks a lot better now. They kind of figured it out, but because they didn't get dev kits, apparently, they didn't know how to run these games on that hardware. So Dust Bloods, it gives us a vague trailer with no gameplay, once again saying that it's coming out soon, I guess. At this point, we're 40 minutes in. We're 40 minutes in, and we've gotten games that are old, we've gotten updates, we've gotten old third-party games, we've gotten updates again to stuff we've seen only for Switch 2, and then we finally get something else that's old again. Splatoon Raiders gets more footage, more of the same, really. We get more Deltarune, which was great. Brand new game, love that. It's Deltarune. It's the same experience we've been playing for the last like 5 years. Metaphor ReFantazio, so excited for that. Haven't played it. I'm gonna pick it up on the Switch too. Looks great, but again, another old game. Minecraft, old game. Kingdom Hearts getting a collection, that's awesome. They showed off Kingdom Hearts 4 for the first time in I think years that we've actually seen that game. It looks great. No new release date, nothing new. It's just more footage and saying, yeah, it's coming to the Switch too. Cool. It's another thing where it's like, this was not a new reveal. And we already talked, Ocarina of Time. It ended the Direct, and that was so disappointing. It was so disappointing how they showed off that Direct. I just don't understand why they did it in this way. I'm having a hard time balancing my thoughts here because amazing games. I am going to play most of them. I'm so excited to play them. I'm glad they're on my Switch too, and I'm glad they showed us off more stuff, but I couldn't help but feel like there still isn't a lot going on. We literally saw Koizumi play thumb wrestling on Switch Sports Resorts more than we saw actual footage of Ocarina of Time. And that game's supposed to come out this year. It's supposed to come out this year. I don't get it. Nintendo's been weird, man. Like, I'm really excited. I have got some positivity through the roof. I'm more of a Nintendo fan than ever. I love so many franchises. I love all these games. We're getting some new stuff. But every single game in this presentation was leaked. And that is the biggest problem I have, I think, right now. Maybe I'll make a whole video going into this idea more in depth, but the problem is Ocarina of Time. It was leaked. Switch Sports, that was leaked. Xenoblade, it was leaked. And we didn't get leaked that it was getting a new game. We didn't get leaked that it was 1 and 3 also getting updates, but still, we could expect Xenoblade in this Direct. They didn't show off that Pikmin 4 Switch 2 edition that people have already leaked, so that's probably going to come in September. Like, there's just stuff that we know that has been leaked, that will be leaked. I love knowing stuff, I guess. Like, it's exciting to have that idea, but at the same time, this Direct would have been so much better if that was a surprise. If Switch Sports Resort was totally out of left field, if Ocarina of Time wasn't even a thought in any of our heads, this Direct would have easily been an A+. Because honestly, that's all it takes, in my opinion, is to have a lot of solid games, some solid updates, some great third parties, and then give us just like one big announcement. And Ocarina of Time is that. And they can't even give us like a month window. They can't even say like fall of 2026. They're just giving us 2026. It's June. I'm just mixed. I'm really mixed on that Direct. On one hand, the Switch 2 has amazing capabilities, has some great games coming, some amazing first-party output. I mean, if you look at it, we're getting games every single month. We got Star Fox this month, Rhythm Heaven Groove, Splatoon Raiders. We're going to have an awesome Fire Emblem game, an awesome Switch Sports game. Dust Bloods is probably coming soon. We know Ocarina of Time is this year as well. Like, that's amazing, but they just, I don't know how you could have such a long 50-minute presentation. It went over, by the way. It went like 55 plus minutes. And how you can have so much time and yet make me not feel much. I was so excited for Xenoblade. It's why my voice is a little bit sparse right now. I loved seeing those games. I'm hyped. I already pre-ordered all of them. I spent $30 on all of the upgrade packs. I'll buy Xenoblade Genesis day one. I'm so excited for Switch Sports Resort. I'm so excited for all of this stuff. But at the very beginning of my reactions video, you'll notice I was sitting down. Why was I sitting down? Because I was like, man, there's nothing really to react to. And outside of that, yeah, that's true. There was nothing else to react to. Ocarina of Time, my reaction, I didn't even post that because it was basically me just saying, oh, please don't look bad. Please don't look bad. And then we finally saw Link and I was so excited. I was like, yes, this is it. Show us some gameplay. But I feel like I can't even make any sort of judgment on that game yet because they've not shown us anything. Like, it's the equivalent of showing us a year to 2 year away teaser, but it's coming this year. The timelines just aren't matching. In the treehouse, I was excited for the treehouse. I didn't end up watching even 5 seconds of that treehouse because they showed us Splatoon Raiders, Star Fox, and Rhythm Heaven Groove. 3 games we have already seen so much footage for. They couldn't show us Fire Emblem. They couldn't show us Ocarina of Time in that. They couldn't show us Switch Sports. They couldn't show us anything new. Again, like, I sound like I'm complaining because I feel like something's wrong and something was so off about that Direct, but it was still exciting. Like, it was still great games. I loved everything I saw. It was just weird pacing, weird timing. After 9 months, I expected this to be blow your socks off kind of Direct, and I just knew from the beginning, oh, they're starting with Rhythm Heaven? Oh, we're going straight into headlines? Yeah, the first actual reveal of a brand new first-party Nintendo game that we didn't know about was Xenoblade Genesis. Then right after that, it was another brand new first-party game that's going to sell well, is a huge deal, Switch Sports Resort, but that was leaked. And then literally the next new first-party announcement that we had not officially had yet was Ocarina of Time, which again was leaked, and they didn't show us anything of it. So as amazing as the Direct was, as amazing are the games, and I'm going to pick up so many of them, there was a lot of communication issues. There are some internal problems. They got to stop this leaking stuff. They really, really do. This Direct would have been so much better if those things were complete and total surprises. And just overall, I felt like they just didn't do a great job of showing us what was going on. There's just truly no reason for Switch Sports Resorts to have been sandwiched right after Xenoblade. They could have easily opened the Direct with that, and most people would have thought it was way better. On my corner of the internet, on X, and on all these different social media platforms, the JRPG fans were showing up big, showing out loud. We all loved this Direct. I loved this Direct, but it just felt odd. There's a big problem with it because there's just not a lot going on, but there is a lot going on. So I don't know if any of that made sense. I don't know if this is even something I am accurate in describing here, but I feel like there's just something weird, and maybe I'll have a follow-up to this later on, but I just wanted to get an overview video out, and then I'm going to start talking about these games individually in the ensuing weeks. So thank you so much for watching to the end. Tell me all your thoughts about this Direct. What is going on in your head? Like, is it just totally positive for you? I have a hard time with it because of the leaks. Make sure you like, subscribe, join the notification bell, and my membership program to get early access to my videos and some cool perks for yourself. Make sure you click on the left side of your screen to see my amazing reactions. Oh my gosh, I'm so excited to Xenoblade and Switch Sports, and click on the right side of your screen to see my predictions video for this Direct because I got so many of them right. Thanks so much for making it to the end of the video. Make sure you have yourself a phenomenal day. This has been Ray's Nintendo Talk. I have been Ray. I'll see you all in the next video.